Good evening. Welcome to the Dead Zone. This is a place where the strange and unusual occurrences happen, a place where people exhibit the most outlandish and reckless behavior, a place that seems to be out of a scary sci-fi movie. It may even seem that you crossed into another dimension of time and space. No, folks, the dead zone is real, and the people that reside there are real, but mentally dead. Some are this way due to being naive. Others are this way because of a daily consumption of false and misleading information. Sadly to report, many are this way because of willful ignorance. We will attempt to resurrect these individuals from the dead zone. We will try to give them a regular dose of reality and a healthy diet of true and factual information. Soon, the brain-dead individual should reverse course and recover. The individual should be left with a thriving and thinking brain and escape the dead zone.
Secretary General of the African People's Socialist Party, Gazi Kodzo, or AKA Black Hitler for my Mayo Saxon fans out there. And as you can see from the title, this Monday's subject is, since I bring you videos every Monday, why every black person should be a communist. Oh my God, guys, you're a communist. Yes, a communist. One winter break, a couple years ago, I went to Waffle House. Yes, y'all, I learned that African people need communism in Waffle House. I was at Waffle House eating, getting me a number 3, and I'm getting me a number 3. Seeing my people, African people, slaving away and busting their asses, serving the waffles and serving the eggs and serving the bacon and all of these things. And then I look and I see an African woman who is serving waffles get burned. And I'm like, dang, sis, this is a hard job. And I look up. And if you go to any Waffle House and you look up, you see the 2 white men that are the founders of Waffle House. And it got me thinking, where are those founders? They don't work as much as these people. Where are the corporate people? They don't work as much as these people, but they make the mass majority of the resources.
Excuse me, you black communists, what kind of society are you really advocating for where there is no law and order and no criminal justice system? If the black community only represents 13% of the population, then you wish to eradicate us all by your socialist agenda. Each week we see the death tolls get worsened by Democratic leaders giving in to your idiocy. You are not helping the black community. You are helping to destroy it. Are you really that delusional? Have you stopped to realize the harmful effects of where you want this country to go? How many more children have to die? I know in your sick, twisted mind, you believe the greater the suffering, the greater the good, that you must do evil, that good may come. But you are the epitome of Romans chapter 3, verse 13 through 17. Your throat is an open sepulchre. With your tongue you have used deceit. The poison of asp is under your lips. Your mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. Your feet are swift to shed blood. Destruction and misery are in your ways, and the way of peace you have not known. All of you misguided, brainwashed individuals, I sincerely hope you wake up before it is too late. I pray that your eyes may be open so that you can see how you have been miserably exploited, doing the dirty work of the globalists and the white liberals. How ironic that you decry systemic racism and you allow yourselves to be used as slaves for the globalist agenda. We all know the real threat to the black man is another black man. Why do you fight against the truth? Have you even considered the many people who have fled communist countries? Have you listened to any of the testimonies of people who have lived under Castro, Chavez, or the Sandinistas? I'm pretty sure you haven't, otherwise you would not be advocating for people to follow such a horrible form of government. I will leave you with the words of one who have participated in such dangerous actions. I hope you learn from the example. Roll the clip.
The Spoken Word Library presents I Trained in Moscow for Black Revolution, a lecture by Leonard Patterson. Mr. Patterson joined the Communist Party in Philadelphia in 1928. He rose rapidly through the ranks, went to Moscow for advanced training along with such well-known party officials as Steve Nelson, Benjamin Gitlow, and Claude Lightfoot. In fact, while in Russia, he was the roommate of Gus Hall, later to become head of the Communist Party USA. Leonard Patterson was no small-time operator within the movement. He was a member of the National Committee and National Bureau of the Young Communist League, a member of the Central Committee of the Negro Commission, and chairman of the International Negro Commission of the Communist Internationale. He organized and led picket lines, strikes, goon squads, and riots, all in accordance with orders from party headquarters. He was an active and effective communist propagandist, not only in the United States, but also in Russia and Germany as well. Mr. Patterson left the Communist Party when he finally realized it wasn't honestly interested in helping Negroes, that it was just using him and his people as cannon fodder to create hatred and violence, and that the goal of the communist movement was the enslavement of all peoples.
I am Leonard Patterson. When I was a young man, only 23 years old, I joined the Communist Party. I was a member of the National Executive Committee of the American Young Communist League. In 1930, I was the official communist candidate for election to New York State Assembly. I knew Gus Hall and other top-ranking American communists very well because I trained with them at the Lenin University in Moscow. I joined the party because I honestly thought the communists were trying to help American Negroes. I broke away from the party when it became clear to me what the communists were really up to, was to use the Negro people in this country in a violent and bloody revolution aimed at the establishment of the American Soviet dictatorship. It was that simple, and it is still that simple today. Make no mistake about it. What is happening in the United States right now under the banner of civil rights is exactly what has happened in China, in Cuba, in Algeria, and many other places around the world. When I was studying communist strategy in Moscow, my instructors emphasized the importance of using honest grievances and popular slogans as a smokescreen to cover up the true nature of the revolution. We were taught how to use propaganda and arouse the emotion of the masses. We learned how to set one group against the other and to make them hate each other. We learned the necessity of having martyrs, and we were even told how to create our own martyrs if they did not immediately result from the atmosphere of hatred. We were taught the importance of getting large masses of people into the street for marches and demonstrations. And finally, we were instructed in ways to take off riots and make them spread and to keep them going. When I returned to the United States, I was immediately given practical training. I participated in so-called nonviolent demonstrations that were deliberately calculated to irritate white people into violence against us. I personally was in charge of organizing a march on Washington to dramatize the Scottsboro Boys case. In New York, about 1935, a Negro boy was reported killed by the owner of a store while in the act of stealing some merchandise. Communist Party headquarters decided to make a march out of the boy. So we went right to work, putting out handbills and holding open air meetings. In less than a half hour after we started, there was a race right on 125th Street, complete with smashing windows of white storekeepers, looting and all the rest. I'm not speaking of things I read about. These are things I personally participated in.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!